Every one of you watching this screen, look out.
Anything can happen in the next half hour.
What did I tell you about cartoons?
They've got a lot of brains, and they've got a lot of chutzpah.
Tell me how comic books make you feel, Dave.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Hello, this is Toon Talker Franz Cantor here with
Jim Bridges.
And who are you, Jim Bridges?
Who am I? Well, I'm the
We haven't
president.
spoken to you for a while.
Yeah, we haven't. I'm the president of the Australian Cartoon Museum,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a lover of animation like Francis.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a film we're doing today that sort of
It's a book we're doing today.
Yeah, but
I had you look at the film.
yeah, but it's one that's got underneath the consciousness of animated people because it was on Netflix. And it's a great little movie. It really is.
So let's do this. Once upon a time.
The Wonderful World of Walt Disney. Yeah.
So
So
this
it's a
is
great
a Christmas
end paper.
story.
Great end paper.
Yeah, these are lovely little character sketches.
Yep.
I don't know. We'll find out.
Klaus.
They're all different. Yeah.
They're terrific, aren't they? Each one's a marvel.
Yeah. So it's a transformation movie.
Yeah.
And this is the book of that transformation movie. This book is quite rare. It's a very short print run and it's sold out. So you might be able to buy it.
It's Titan Books.
Yeah.
And it's forward by James Baxter and it's written by Ramin Zahid. Mm-hmm. It's a Spanish, primarily Spanish-American film, yes.
Yep.
And it was the first film that was up for an Academy Award that came out of Netflix.
Mm-hmm. And
But it got knocked off by Toy Story 4.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the symbolic page of the man with the axe.
yeah.
Yeah. What are you looking at?
Trying to read the writing.
You don't read writing.
No, I read reading. I don't read
That's
writing.
right, you read reading. Yeah.
So this is the lead character, the main character we view the Klaus story through, which is the postman.
Who starts off cookie cutting in the sense of his character.
Jesper.
Yeah, you just think, I've got another sport rotten bloke, he's going to learn his lesson. But as the film progresses, it does its magic on you.
Now you might. This is a lovely illustration. They do a lot for Toy Story and a lot Pixar films, especially. They have illustrators come in and create these sort of mood illustrations to create some kind of a context and a visual story, a visual narrative.
Well, it's a Christmas context, really, and most of the landscapes are in snow.
Yeah. All right, so a little bit of a backstory for this. This film looks 3D because they've got this really difficult shading, and that can be a little bit off-putting to a lot of traditionalists who like to see the line more. So I was talking to an animation friend this week about this film, and I like it, but one thing he drew to my attention was the fact that, you go to all this trouble of creating this beautiful 2D film, and a lot of the shading, which is traditionally, one pass or one level, one layer in 2D animation, they actually did a very intricate 3D CGI effect on it. So, and that gives it more three-dimensionality, but it also robs it of its linear quality.
Yes, I agree. Yes, that sort of when you're caught up in the story, you sort of, what am I watching? A 2D film?
Yeah.
3D film. That's sort of.
Well, everything you see the 2D, everything, even the 2D drawings, you can start to see these sort of polygon shapes here. Everything has a perspective reality and three-dimensional properties that are, it's a good idea to draw with that in mind. It's one of the principles, solid drawing for animation. But for this, it's kind of gone a little bit. I think a little bit over the mark, and although it doesn't, I've enjoyed it as a film, and I was pleasantly surprised to learn that it was 2D.
So you think that too much work went into it, and you don't see the results on the screen? Is that
Well,
what
too
you're
much camera work. See, too much of the blur and the the shading, the individual shading. We'll get into that as we go into the book. They'll talk about the process. But these splash pages here for the different chapters are fantastic, because they're like in Illustrator's dream. This is going back to Evan Durrell from Sleeping Beauty in the 50s.
Yeah, all the verticals.
These lovely
Especially
trees.
all the verticals, yeah, it reminded me of Sleeping Beauty.
And the simplicity of the branches and the design, and even the colours. The colours are very sophisticated. So now, of course, our TVs are like coloured like the cinema screen. So you have very sophisticated colour palettes like this. You couldn't get this in a 1950s or 60s TV show.
No, just a touch of Open Season about it too. All
Open
the trees.
Season again would be referring back to the Evan Durrell trees.
Yeah.
So it's trying to evoke a feeling of Christmassy and quality, which is from the mid-century Disney.
I think they had too many characters. What do you think?
Well, there's certainly a lot of characters, but the main attention is on Jasper, the mailman. He goes through this transition. This film is about transition, so it's like change. So he goes through change. His father goes through change, and
The town definitely
Klaus,
goes through change.
And Klaus, this is the woodsman.
Actually, everybody is transformed by this movie. Everybody, really.
Yeah.
There's nobody who
You could probably guess now that Klaus, because of his certain attributes, is it's a backstory for the Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
Yeah,
Do you believe in Santa Claus?
or Sandy Claus.
Do you believe in Santa Claus?
if you like Sandy
They have
Claus.
one of them on every life policy. Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
and-
Susquehanna hats on Bagel Street?
Never.
Bagel Street!
Vaguely. This character's really interesting because you don't actually get into him till halfway into the movie.
Yeah.
And it's really well done. The fact who he is and how he's presented and how you get to know him is incredibly well done. I mean, you start off with this character who I personally didn't like, and I slowly, he's whinging all the time, he's got all his problems. And then slowly but slowly, this main character, I'm not even thinking of him, I'm just thinking about everything around him. And it's perfectly done because you don't want to stay with that character, you want to get outside of him. And that's exactly what the writers do. It's a really well written story, I thought. And it takes a lot to forget that you're looking at an animated film. It really does, but there were moments where I did.
the research they went into.
Yeah.
There's some beautiful walk cycles that these characters have. It's sort of like a old world postal work.
Yeah,
so
this-
the
this
military style.
Yeah. He looks like the
European
guy
military.
who sweeps the floor in the Rockin'
This is a
Mr.
very
Peabody.
Peter Cushing design
Yeah.
for the postmaster. All of these characters are exquisitely.
There's just a touch of one of the families in Sleeping Beauty about him.
I don't remember. I've seen the film.
Yeah.
I've only seen the backgrounds.
You've never seen Sleeping Beauty ever?
No.
Really?
Way to Smearensburg. The earliest film that I've seen of Disney would be one of my favourites would be
What, Dumbo?
Jungle Book.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Jasper's journey. So, look again, these trees. Evan Durrell was a master painter. And what he brought was this incredible blend of graphic design and a believable environment, landscape.
Disneyland without the rainbow.
So these concept art by Szymon Biernacki and who's this one? Marcin Jakubowski. So they have a beautiful Avondale aesthetic about these shapes. It's really quite. I mean, this, this thing there looks very much part of Sleeping Beauty. So again, these are like splash pages, illustrations to evoke a sense of colour and light. And although you can see a lot of this is grey now, it's going to be. Its colour's going to feature, obviously, as an accent in the story. This is the ferryman. So there's a lot of. This is the untoned character. When you see it toned, all of the linear work is knocked back and sort of subdued because of the lighting. You've got this sort of glow effect from the backgrounds and the shading. The shadows are quite sophisticated.
Yeah.
I quite like these designs. I love these.
He cracks a lot of jokes, this guy.
Yeah, so a lot of
introduces him to this town.
Very cool art and design have gone into this, and the technology, of course, to create. Yeah, that's lovely, isn't it? That leaning of the peaked houses.
The houses are just sort of just standing there about to fall down. This is like the old London Bridge drawings, isn't it? Houses on London Bridge. There's a little touch of McCabe and Mr. Miller about it too, because it's all shot in
black and white.
No, it's all shot in a snow-bound little tiny town.
I've not seen that.
Oh, it's a great western. It's shot in the snow.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Robert Altman.
Like The Hateful Eight. That's
Can't talk
shot
about
in
it.
Snow.
Can't talk about it.
You don't like Hateful Eight?
I don't like the film
Tarantino.
director. No,
Oh dear.
puts me off. Every time a character opens their mouth, I know what movie he's pinched it from, and it's sort of it's disorientating.
Oh well, people say that, but I think he's got the reason why I like him is because I've never seen the films that he's referencing, so they're all new to me.
Well, I mean, there's a really tough-looking guy, some gangster, and he says something, and it's straight out of a Bette Davis movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
What
like
a
all
dump.
this stuff.
So look at this, beautiful. This,
And that's out of her.
and I've never seen
Who's Afraid
Snow.
of Virginia Woolf? Quote. Yeah.
I've never seen it. Okay.
What a dump. They use this shot a lot. This is almost used that angle and that building as time's moving on.
Yeah, and these are the Avondale shapes, the trees and things, given a little bit more animation. So there's a lot of details gone into creating the world.
You open up the window of the door of this post office, and there's just too many things to look at.
Yeah, they have used 3D,
Yeah.
but they've used it very judiciously. So they've used it in things that obviously move, like wagons and stuff like that. So things that the camera needs.
This is the love interest, teacher turned fishmonger, then turned teacher again. Am I leading too much away by saying that? She's very
No, so everybody, there's a lot of change here. A lot of change in that jar. But there's a lot of change going on in this story. So people grow, through their
the whole
through the story from the
yeah,
beginning.
every character. Yeah, school turned into a fish shop,
Oh.
and they don't fry the stuff there. It's all fresh in this place. Lots of fish heads floating around. Well, these
I
ones.
might actually, while we're here, I might just, sorry about this, I might just hit the autofocus. Yeah, that's a bit better.
Oh, you're going to give us all vertigo doing that.
Yeah, that's better. So
she chops up the fish, and he's actually shot the stink of the place too.
yeah.
And it's like the Martins and the McCoys.
The Hatfields and the McCoys. Who's the Martins?
Oh well, that's an older fight. And and so the whole town is feuding, and he walks into it. Look at this. Look at this.
So these are illustrations. They're not in the film. So this book is made up of all the artwork that they've put together to create these beautiful plates. So these are all the character designs. They put months and months and months of work into
The
this.
Bully Boy.
These are character exploration by Torsten Schrank.
Yeah.
These ones,
These look like they're pinched out of the Addams Family, don't they?
Yeah. That's artwork by Thibaut Denis. Beautiful. So light plays an incredible part of this whole story. And they've got this sort of low slanting light usually, so it creates this sort of very, very contrasty shadows. And that could be problematic in a 2D film because it tends to hide all of this. So what you're seeing here with these is sort of beautiful, intricate penwork is a different process.
I agree.
in the actual
You do lose a lot of the line.
Yeah, well, you make up volumes, and we'll talk about the light in a second.
This is one of the main bad guys.
Yeah.
And this is almost, it's funny. I'm looking at these. This is straight out of influence from Sleeping
Corpse
Beauty.
Bride.
From Sleeping Beauty, one of the
Never seen it.
very good godmothers.
Never seen it.
Yeah.
So-
I know it's a Disney film. You wouldn't have seen it. Ellen Boss, yes. Very unusual characters, shapes.
Yeah, this one reminds me of Up. This guy.
Oh yeah, Up.
Marcin
Well, the
Jacobs.
beard's a bit big for Up, isn't it?
Well, the nose and the...
And this guy, his voice sounds like it was that. No, there he is. Yeah, that guy you drew, the comedian, the fat. He's in Mad Mad World. What's his name? Little fat guy cracks all the jokes. You drew him about 3 months ago.
Oh.
Buddy
Hackett.
Buddy Hackett, yeah. He looks like and sounds a bit like Buddy Hackett. Yeah.
It's a lot of this planning that they go through because they've got to create these believable sets. It's quite an extraordinary film. It's a technically advanced film. Look at the colours. It's just really. They've really poured a lot of time into the design of this and the look of this.
And how
They did deserve
how
it.
the story sneaks up on you, it's just extraordinary. It does overtake you. I mean, I was in tears at one stage, and it takes a lot to make me cry.
This is a poignant part of the film where
Yeah.
you start to unravel the story of Klaus himself and why he's so grumpy
Yeah.
and stoic and sort of closed off.
This is when he enters Klaus's house.
Yeah,
And Klaus actually makes toys, but he made them for his own kids.
yeah.
There he is. Which he never had. And of course, it has the tragedy of the lost relationship with the woman in his
Yeah,
life.
so this is his
This is
backstory,
Klaus when
Lydia.
when he was younger.
Yeah.
And he kept on making toys for the children they were going to have. And there's this sequence in the film where the wind blows the leaves, and whenever that happens, it means something's going to happen. There's a change in their thinking or the realisation of things happen.
Yeah, these there's a 3D version of this sleigh, and there's also a 2D version of the sleigh. So they've used it very cleverly because I think to get a camera move, a tilt, it's very difficult to draw consistent change of perspective unless you're Richard Williams. Of course.
Yeah. Well, they never used this one, did they? But they used these two. And I've never seen so many chooks in the snow in my life. There seemed to be a chook in every scene.
Yeah, chickens don't like snow.
And also the all those cubby holes that you put all the letters in the post office were just full of chooks, full of chooks. This is the first gift, the frog. Yeah, it's well look at this. This is 50s. Look at that. There's that London Bridge bit.
Yeah, so everything goes through transformation. It's it's a really incredible change.
Well, I mean,
it happens. So
you know,
the colour and character, lighting plays an incredible part. I mean, this is what
Yeah.
I would call like French lighting in a lot of
Yeah,
Gobelins
it's
film.
subtle.
You've got that low morning light or the low warm.
the light
afternoon
changes
light.
when it becomes a school
Yeah.
building again.
Yeah, so you got these low
Yeah.
shadows and.
Yeah, there seemed to be a lot of morning light in this film, or
Yeah,
afternoon
well,
light.
it's a nice accent that
Yeah.
they can put in. It gives you the feeling of it's the end of the day and end of class. So
The relationship between Alva and the postman is sort of, it's handled well, and it's sort of inevitable, as opposed to there's no moment.
well, they're two misfits thrown
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
So one is as bad as the other.
It's a bit like the bloke in that Canadian film where the moose walks down the street. What's that show called? Television show. All these misfits in the town and they're thrown together. And the ones who don't fit in at all, they're the ones who end up being together, So that's never used in the film, but this little character, where is she?
Yeah, so this is like Russian
Yeah.
flavour of colouring.
The Laplands.
Yeah.
The Laps, who live in this extraordinary cold, desolate environment. And this little girl keeps coming to his door. And you can't understand a word she says, but she's cute. And he seems to understand, but he's such a cynical look. There's a typical shot of him.
This is from the film.
Yeah, but he's very cynical. He's
Yeah.
very cynical,
So this is incredibly rich, the colours and the lighting and
Yeah.
things like that. So,
Yeah.
that's why it's got this sort of 3D effect, but you've gone to extraordinary lengths to create that.
Yeah, it is rich with, I mean, they probably could have pulled back and got the film out a year earlier. What do you reckon?
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know how long the process is. We'll talk about it. There's
They
a section in it.
actually put Klaus in red because of the Laplands. The way they sort of
there's a reason
recreate
for
the
colouring.
Christmas, the
Yeah.
way they recreate the Christmas story is interesting. It's
Yeah.
a very interesting.
It has a
thing.
cultural
Yeah.
basis to it.
Yeah,
So again, the colour and light
yeah,
is and the shadows and things.
yeah.
This is the scene before the lighting. I think that's that's the scene before the lighting. So this is with the lit. So there's quite a lot of post work over the animation.
And these were meant for each other. Olaf and Pumpkin. You never see Pumpkin's eyes. She's always got her eyes shut. She's so large. And Into the Future.
Oh, there's
Well, there he
another
goes. You see,
illustration.
these little bits of winds of change happen to him in particular, and then he just moves off.
Yeah, some sort of magical
yeah.
aspect to it.
The wind is, we did see the wedding, yeah. And the wedding looked like it was shot at lunchtime as opposed to all the other shots because they're all either early morning or early afternoon, or late afternoon.
There's a little interesting pattern there. Looks like a barcode. So maybe Christmas commercial or commercialism.
Well, who came
Look
first?
at all the character sizes and shapes, so you can get an idea of
Yeah.
variety. So even within the kids, you've got an incredible amount of variety.
There's a lot of kids in this.
Yeah, there's a lot of characters.
A lot of characters.
But
I would have actually cut back a few, personally. But then again, you don't know. Maybe that's why it worked. The story actually sucks you totally in. He makes these bird... his wife liked birds, so he makes all these birdhouses.
so this is breaking down. This is the storyboard. You can start to see it's created for the animatic. There's a storyboard panel. You can start to see all this sort of motion blur and camera blur and things like that. This is this is the final scene, I think. I'm not sure.
Oh, it's near the end. Yeah, now this is stuff I like to see in these books, the first things. It's got that It's got 50s written all over this film. A lot of the original
Yeah.
designs.
Well, it's a
come out-
1950s style of cartoon,
Yeah.
apart from the little jelly eyes,
Yeah.
which come from anime
Yeah.
or chibis or something. But this is Jesper's pitch. So he pitched
Yeah.
the idea of the Christmas gifting and things
Yeah.
to the post office, to his superior, in this fashion. So it was a very sort of,
No, he pitched this to Klaus.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he pitched it to Klaus.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And but Klaus wasn't that interested. And this is the no-go area.
Yeah.
And he's in shadow a lot, Klaus, until things start to change.
Here's a good step by step. Goes from the final cleaned line animation to color, and then they do the shading. And of course, you can see the transition from here to here is extreme. There's a lot of you can see all of the coloring and the line work still in place in the color version, but when it gets over to the shading, it's really subdued.
Yeah, I would.
Again, this is a good example. Ambient, bounce light. This is the level of detail. Generally, you don't have all of this stuff because this is really comes from an understanding of 3D. You export from 3D, from a 3D render, all of these different passes, and that's what all of these sort of things, are referring to. So bounce lights and things like that. But this is the studio.
They're all beavering away at their own little tasks.
Yeah.
I don't see too many shaving mirrors where they can grab their expressions.
So there's a lot of this very dramatic lighting and,
Yeah.
of course, shading.
Classic lighting, blue background, and highlights.
Yeah, so here we go. This is the step-by-step. This is a shadow pass. Now this is over the top of the animation. The shadow pass, the sunny side, or the main light. Then you've got ambient light, which goes in to lighten the shadow areas. And you've got occlusion, which is like a shadows that refer to areas that the light cannot penetrate, they cannot get to. So underneath the eyes and darkest areas,
Crevices.
etc. Yeah,
Yeah.
but these have to be created by hand for every single shot. Secondary light, subsurface scattering, which comes from 3D. Subsurface scattering is sort of like a multiple bounce light effect that creates a sort of glow and shadows. There's also specular. So, the specular lights are affecting the eyeballs, the wet parts of the texture. So there's an awful lot. All of this is on every single shot.
And that's on
So
top
it's-
of the animation.
Yeah, I mean, usually with an anime, you have like one shadow.
Yeah.
Maybe you might put in some specular or something, but
Yeah.
that's it. This is a totally different approach. This comes from 3D CGI.
Very exhaustive process.
Yeah, so a
And
lot
here's
of
the
these would
gang.
be animators, and most of them would probably be compositors,
Here's the gang.
which have to do the lighting and the shading at the end.
And there'd be more people who actually worked on the film than...
Yeah, and you usually so many people, you have babies, so that, in the Pixar credits,
Yeah, they're babies.
they
That's
have
right.
the babies listed.
Yeah. Well, that's because they take 2 to 3 years to do,
Yeah,
the artistry.
so they're not kidding. The sculptors of light, that's exactly what this film is all about. So if you like Evan Durrell, which I do, I love that those sort of beautiful shapes and the illustrators' dream come true. But, again, a lot of this is obscured by the beautiful lighting effects. So there's a sort of a good and a bad with that process, I think.
Yeah.
So overall, I think the film was a good Christmassy sort of document. Did you like it?
I did. I really did. Let's play around with this. Let's just mess around here.
Yeah. So
I
this
really
is,
like the film, and I like the subtle way
Very tactile,
it
isn't
retells the Father Christmas story in
Yeah.
a new way. and it does sneak up on you. You know.
It does.
I started off very cynically about this film, especially the main character, but you know, it got me. It won me over. It's a great story. I think it's a tour de force of storytelling, and the script in particular. I thought they did a great job.
This is Klaus, The Art of the Movie. If you can find a copy of this, it's quite rare, very rare, and good luck to you. You may be able to get it on Amazon still, but you know, Christmas is coming up, so I'd get a move on.
And all the bits where you think, oh God, how are they going to do this bit? Because, you know, how are they going to make us believe? Have done beautifully animatedly, and you do believe it. You do suspend your
Disbelief.
That's right.
All right, this is
because obviously some people out there still believe in Santa Claus.
okay. This is the Grinch, and
James Patrick Bridges here.
and I will catch you later.
On the flip side.
No, that's a different show.
Oh, a different show. Okay.
Yeah, we don't say that here.
Okay.
We just say I'll catch you later, or
We'll see you around like a record.
That's
How about
it.
that one?
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thanks for the sour persimmons, cousin.